All right, guys, I got an interesting clip that is going viral right now. This comes from the Change Tomorrow Today podcast. Go ahead and give them description. This clip is pretty good. Let's go.
Back to another episode of Change Tomorrow Today, the hottest podcast on the planet.
And the planet, that boy went from the world to the mother planet. Boy, we taking over the universe. Yes, we welcome back. We missed you.
I missed you guys.
Yeah, how was
been a while.
The vacation was good.
Yeah, we're gonna say it was good.
You look like the sun. You got burnt.
Needed.
You look like you got cooked up by the sun a little bit. She looked like
needed.
a golden chicken.
Funny, bro.
Hey man, we're gonna have a great episode for you guys. We're gonna be talking about single parents dating, right? What it's like dating as a single parent. What do you guys look for when you guys are dating? What are the difficulties of dating as a single parent? Is it easy? Is it hard? Because I don't know.
So go ahead.
You want to talk about something you don't know.
I want to learn. I really want to learn. You know what I'm saying? So what it's like dating as a single parent, male and female.
So go ahead.
I actually just started kind of dating.
Okay.
So I wouldn't.
Oh, you were off the market.
Right, for a long time.
Okay.
So dating as a single parent is a little difficult to say. But beyond that, I think it's difficult for me to say because I don't have the same experiences as most people.
What do you mean?
I mean, I'm a single parent, yes, but I have a nice village that's very helpful. So it doesn't kind of interfere with my dating.
What do you mean by that? You mean like
life.
the kids?
Yeah. Right. When you have a good village, you have good people around you that, you can count on. It makes it a little bit easier when you're dating because you don't have to work around so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looking for a sitter and stuff like that, trying to be Okay.
So like I would say when my daughter was very young, I don't think people really believed I had a daughter.
Right.
Because my village was just really great. So my dad would get her every weekend. And from the time she was born up until recent, because now she's a teenager, she make her own little decisions.
That's right.
But up until recent, her dad used to get her like Wednesday through Friday. So that would leave me Monday and Tuesday. Which means if I'm dating, I have Wednesday through Sunday to make plans and arrangements.
Hold up. That's no knock to her, but that is a bit weird to hear a mom saying she only had her child Monday and Tuesday, 2 days out the week, unless there was some type of custody court mandated situation going on, which is definitely not the case here. But let's not judge prematurely, I guess.
Okay.
So Mondays and Tuesdays was off limits, right?
She only parented 2 days a week.
I'm just now entering the single parenting dating realm now that I have Miguel.
Okay.
And even though I still have my village, it's not the same. I'm a little older. Yeah. So now it's making arrangements. It's like, whoa, yeah, this is hard.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can speak generally. I can speak in general or whatever.
No. We're gonna speak direct, brother. I want. Listen. I want the nitty gritty. I want to hear because listen, man. I gotta live vicariously through you, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel okay. I'll say this. For me personally, dating is not complex for me.
Okay.
Because one, I don't have any restrictions.
Right.
Okay. And by me saying that, yes, I do have older kids. So
no, but we mean how was dating when your kids were younger?
When they were younger.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when my kids were younger, when I was dating, it was a little bit of a challenge. Because of course I have kids and the other individuals didn't have kids, so they didn't understand the importance of me helping my children do their homework, putting them to bed, or maybe cooking dinner for them to make sure that they were okay. And sometimes I used to get a lot of backlash, attitude.
Really?
Yeah, of course, because sometimes certain women can be selfish.
Yeah, that's very selfish.
Right, because they're not in that position. Because they don't understand what parenting is. So
right.
Of course, so they used to always get mad. Oh, you're not spending enough time with me. And I used to take offense to it or whatever.
I'm spending time with my kids.
Yeah, I have to spend time with my kids. I actually cut off women that came at me like that.
Oh, wow.
You get what I'm saying? So
that's crazy.
Yeah. So I can say it was difficult when my kids were younger, when I was dating and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because my kids is my priority. They come first.
Yeah, that's crazy. So I'm not a person that particularly likes to date people with kids anyways. So
What?
Why is that?
I prefer not to date people with kids because I don't like to deal with drama. So it has nothing to do with the kids. I love kids. But I just don't like to deal with the drama. And usually they have some form of drama. Even if it's not necessarily like super chaotic or toxic, it's some form of, you guys have an issue.
Okay.
And I don't like to deal with it because I don't have those issues.
Fair?
You have a child though.
It's very fair. So people always say that to me, like, that's not fair
That's not
because you
fair,
have
though,
kids,
dog.
right?
Come on.
But
Kids, plural.
the way I counter that is, yes, I have kids, but I don't have that dynamic. You know what I mean? Like,
But I understand, but that's not fair. Though.
it is,
You
because
can't just X somebody
I'm
out.
telling you, I don't want to deal with you because of the drama that comes
But if
along
there's no
with
drama, you can't.
9 times out of 10, I was always right.
And how do you know that you don't come with drama?
Always a female lingering with chaos and toxicity, and it's not and I know that because even just when you talk to people, like, I remember being younger, like in my 20s, and I talked to people about me and my daughter's dad's relationship, and they're like, that's not normal.
Hold on, I'm sorry to keep stopping. Did she say her and her children's dads, like plural?
Because we don't have that drama and toxicity. So it's like, I don't want to date nobody with kids because people my age, the girls are still holding on to this man, and it's some type of something going on. You can't see your kid. I don't like that. All that drama, I don't want no parts of that.
So you're not.
I don't give that drama to nobody.
So you're not even gonna give it a chance to see.
I don't want to.
Just because.
I'm not saying I'm not going to. I'm just saying you got to have a lot of other wonderful characteristics and qualities.
I'm saying though, but that's a disqualification.
I don't really want to deal with people.
So
with
my
kids.
brother.
So just to point it out for the people who missed it, and she's going to talk about it. She's a teenage mom as well, but has 2 children by 2 different men saying that she won't date a man that has kids. I'm going to let them cook.
If you got a child, you disqualified. Ain't that something?
I love kids though. Like, I really love kids. It's just sometimes I feel like domestic violence is very serious.
Okay.
In a lot of these situations, these women and men that don't know how to let go, and they feel like the baby mom or the baby dad is supposed to be with them forever. I can't insert myself into a type of chaos like that because I don't bring that chaos to nobody.
Where did DV come from?
I don't have that type of drama going on.
I'll tell you what, because that's from a female perspective.
Yeah.
From the male perspective, I've heard a lot of times, even through social media, it's a lot of guys that they don't want to date women with kids, either.
Yeah.
Because they feel like,
what's that reasoning?
Well, I'm saying, but they feel like, why should I invest into that situation when it's not my child? You know what I'm saying? So I understand what you're saying. You're saying drama.
Well, let me pick it back on that.
Yeah,
That's not a man.
break it down.
Did y'all hear her? He simply stated a lot of men don't like to date single mom and gave the reason why, because I have to use my resources to take care of children who aren't mine. And she says, but that's not a man, though. That's not a man. Listen to y'all.
Okay, so this is
Because you're single, so you know.
Yeah. So okay, and the men that don't date women with kids, I understand where they're coming from, because don't no man want to play Mr. Cleanup guy, right? Especially if it's a productive, competitive man. Why should he come in that situation to clean up that situation?
Why not?
Nah,
Why not?
I don't agree.
What?
With it.
I get you saying you don't agree, but I'm saying why not?
So dating single moms, right?
That's a serious question.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Dating single modern women. This is 3 questions that I will ask them. What is it that you can offer me that you haven't given to another man?
Oh my goodness.
This is what I said. What can you offer me that you haven't given to another man? And the reason why I'm saying that, because 1, you shared your youth, your fertility, and your womb with another man. You shared your womb. You gave another man the biggest honor that you can give him, right? And my second question to that woman would be like, why didn't it work out with the father of the kid that, you know what I'm saying, that you had a kid with, or whatever. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Because you created this family. So why should I give up my resources to take care of your kids, right? Because men, we're very territorial, right? Because 1, I have to share you with your kids. That is not mine. And also I have to share you with the father of your kids. Who is to know what time the father of your kids is on? Because as of late, I've been seeing men been killing other men because they're dealing with their exes. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I don't know if that man may want to cause some harm to me.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I understand everything when men are saying, I don't want to date single mothers with kids or whatever. You get my point?
I get what you're saying. You know what I'm saying?
So
what's the third question?
So and let me
Yeah,
ask you this
waiting for the
question,
third
bro.
one.
If you went to the store, would you buy a product that had a broken seal?
No, I'm not gonna.
You wouldn't. Why you wouldn't buy a product that had a broken
Somebody,
seal?
because it's already been. I don't know what's
It's
in
been
there.
tampered
It's
with.
the same thing. That's the reason why men
So-
say they don't want to date women with kids because you already have been tainted. You already shared your wound with another man. So,
but are you serious right now?
yes, I'm being very serious.
So okay,
I'm being very
so
serious.
to be a counter to that, because that is absolute. I'm gonna keep it a buck. That's some bullshit, and I'm gonna that's some mother bullshit. Yes, it is.
Go ahead.
Because I said your first question was, well, I'm gonna ask a woman, what can she get? What can you give a woman that you ain't give to another female?
Okay.
She's answering the question with the question. And then also want you guys to notice something. Because this is going to happen again a little bit later in the video. You notice, even though the two men on set right now, even if they disagree with her, you notice they haven't said anything that she said was stupid. Even if it didn't make logical sense. No one called her stupid. And then no one else has been cursing. This shows you initially that she's emotional about it and also doesn't have a proper retort. When they have to resort to name calling, cursing, yelling, it's because they can't answer. They don't have a logical answer for your questions. And she's getting emotional and worked up.
All right. Okay.
What can you? But no.
Okay, go ahead, Vic.
What can you give another female that you haven't? What can you give this woman that you haven't given to another female? Why does it have to be that a woman have to bring you something? I'm not. Who the fuck are you that I gotta bring you something?
Okay.
What are you bringing to me?
Okay.
It goes both ways. I thought. Now that's one. Now, two, you're saying, well, you don't know what that circumstance could be, what that situation could be. So are you speaking from a standpoint of a man who does not have kids just yet?
Both.
Or
Single.
you can't speak from both. And the reason I'm going to say you can't is because just as you're a man, if you are a man that has children, to say that to a woman that has children, it almost sounds... No, not almost. It's narcissistic as hell. Because if you've given another woman kids, who are you to ask a woman what you got to offer me because you gave a nigga kids?
I really wish women would stop using narcissism. They use it out of context over and over again. That wouldn't be narcissism, what you just described. The word you're looking for is hypocritical. It's not narcissism. And I'm following her logic. That would be someone being a hypocrite. But they just love throwing out that narcissistic word. Y'all need to lose that out y'all lexicon.
Did you not give another woman kids? So what happened with that family that you were building? Why did that not work out?
Okay, so can I answer your question?
Sure.
Okay, one, Vic, it's a double standard. Unfortunately, men can do it. You can. A woman cannot.
Double
do it
standards
right now.
exist.
And two,
No.
I
Yes,
know-
we can.
Okay, but let me say this.
No, you can't.
I know the detractors and the critics going to come for me because I have kids. One, my kids are grown. I have a 23.
But at one point they weren't.
But let me answer the question. I'll let you talk. Let me talk.
You're right.
I have two girls.
I'm
I have a
sorry.
23-year-old and I have a 20-year-old. My oldest daughter has recently graduated from college on her way to grad school.
Yes,
My
Lord.
second daughter, she'll be graduating from college pretty soon, right? Secondly, I've never been married. So what I can offer a woman is marriage. That's the biggest
That's it?
honor. Listen, hold up. That's the biggest honor a man can give a woman is marriage. Yes, that is the biggest offer I can offer a woman is marriage. Because you know why? Can't no woman ever said that I was married to them. So that would give that other woman bragging rights that I've given you the biggest honor by marrying you.
I agree to a certain extent, but he also had his kids out of wedlock. I get his point, though.
You're not just my baby mama, but you're my wife. And you can research my name. You will not see my name logged on any marriage license in all 50 states of America. Yes, and that's what it is. I'm
So having
bringing
the-
marriage and I'm bringing my resources to
Okay.
you. That's what I'm bringing. Resources and marriage. And I have receipts because I am successful. When my kids were born, I always had custody of my kids and I have receipts. And my kids' success shows it. So I know what I'm talking about.
And she don't have no response. There you go.
Ralph, do you have something to add?
Go ahead.
She ain't got nothing.
Well, no, what up? Okay.
You're not a single parent, so it's a little bit more harder. I
No, I'm
know.
not a single parent, but I grew up in a single household.
Right,
So I grew up without a father. I've always wanted a father,
right.
whether mine's or not, whether like blood or not. So I always wish that I had somebody to kind of like lace me up,
Right.
guide me, because you know we bump our heads a lot. So I understand where you're coming from, what you're saying, because you're like, and I get the whole thing. It's not my child. Why should I invest my time? But I'm saying like for me, because I wanted that, so I can understand from both. But I wanted that. That's not something I would. If I meet a woman with children, that's not a deal breaker for me.
Right.
Because when I was in high school, I was dating a girl that was out of high school with kids.
Right.
So she had one child, a son. But I love kids though. So to me, it's not like I don't look at it like I'm wasting my time or Because I always hear people say, well, if I date a woman with children, one day her children is going to denounce me and say, you're not my father.
Yeah.
But for me, I always look at it this way. It's a rite of passage.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day,
Yep.
if we're bickering and I'm trying to give you the right things to do, the right thing to say, The only way for you to hurt me or to make me feel little is by you to say, well, you're not my dad. You can't tell me what to do. And I call it a rite of passage.
I couldn't disagree with this dude more. Could not disagree with him more. And there's no disrespect to this man, but he's also a man who just admitted he grew up without a father. So men who grow up without fathers, in my opinion, tend to think much differently than men that grew up with fathers. And I've said this before. That's not to say that dudes who grew up without dads can't become mature, masculine, alpha, leader type men. That's not to say that they can't. I'm just saying that the mentality is different. That's not a rite of passage, my G. That's putting yourself into something that you don't have to be a part of, that you're choosing to be a part to, and then you deal with the headaches that come along with it. If you think rite of passage, more power to you, bro. I look at it as you get what you pay for. You bought a single mom, and headache from her children are one of the things that's going to come along with it. That's not to say they're all like that, or that raising a stepchild, it will always be problematic like that. I'm not saying that, but I couldn't disagree with you more, bro.
That wouldn't bother me. But again, I'm speaking from me not having a dad.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something that I always wish I had.
Right.
So to me, that's not really a deal breaker. But I'm not speaking for all men. I'm only speaking for myself.
No doubt. Respect it.
Right. And
I
also,
want to rock. I wouldn't do that. You know what I
right.
mean?
You know what I'm saying? Like, just like you said, bro, it's not that it's a deal breaker, but me, just how I think if a man is going to be dating a single modern mother, that single modern woman is going to have to go above and beyond to show herself approved to that man. Because why would that man select you when he could go out there and select a much younger woman that is childless? That's not going to bring the chaos to him. Because like I said earlier today, who is to say what time the father of your kids is on? You get where I'm coming
So
from?
you're looking
Right,
at
but that's
safety.
only one. That's
Correct.
only one perspective that is a very important
Very
perspective, of course. But it's only one. So like even when you say me being I'm gonna take myself. Me being someone I didn't grow up with my father.
Okay.
I would hate if my mother had met men with that mindset that you just described, because the men that my mother, and it wasn't a lot of men or whatever, but like my stepfather came along when I was like in 4th grade. I thank God for him every day. You understand? Like my father wasn't present in my life. He stepped in and he did what no other man did all the way through till I was all the way in college. They didn't get divorced until years later. And that man saved my life in so many ways. He was and we did have fights. I mean, like teenagers, kids, you got kids, kids say, your kids say crazy stuff to you. So just imagine what they're going to say to a stranger in the midst of being upset.
It's like I said, dog, like for me.
But sorry, not to cut you off. So I'm just saying, thank God for him, because I tell him all the time, my father's out of prison now. If I get married, both of them have to walk me down the aisle because he really raised me.
And that's crazy. And it also answers a lot of questions that you guys, I'm sure, already had brewing in your mind. The fact that she says, my dad is out of prison now, tells me that her father was locked up the vast majority of her life, because she talked about earlier how her father had her kid on the weekends or whatever. So that tells me she was already grown and an adult. And the father was probably trying to make up for a lot of lost time, and more power to him. But let's put that to the side for a second. Think about if you're the stepdad who came in and raised her and, like she just admitted, helped change her life. You've been there for while her dad was locked up. But if she ever gets married, both of y'all going down the aisle. Cold world.
Yeah.
So that thought process to me is just mind blowing and it's insane. The reason I don't want to date people with kids, what the kids may or may not say, because what you give a kid is what they're going to give you back. And once they get to that age of teenage, we know teenagers, so that's not even something to take personal. I'm expecting you to say it, because if you don't say it, I think something ain't right. Because that's what kids are going to say.
But some kids won't say it.
Yeah.
But again,
Logic.
if you do say it, it's like, to me, it's like,
It's a hit or miss.
it's like, I'm going to laugh at you like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I like, my advice on this, man, is not going to, because I say,
You're not a
I can't say you wrong. I can't say you wrong. I can't say, all I'm saying is, for me, I'm black, bro. So I only know how to be black.
Right.
And all I'm saying is, a lot of us, we grew up fatherless.
Yeah.
And I think it's because we always talk about back in the days and stuff like that. I think a lot of times, man, the difference with why back in the days was probably a lot better than today is because a man, when he meets a woman, he didn't care how many kids she had.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If he loved that woman, like that woman,
Took her and her kids.
it was all in.
Yep.
But
it's different time, different mindset.
And that's true, but stepfathers were respected more back in the day.
Back off what you said.
Let me finish. I'm gonna let you rock.
All right, go ahead.
Now, so I can only go off my experience. Like I said, I always wanted a dad. Never had one, but now I get to play one. Right. So I get to be one. It's
Yeah,
the
I
most
about to say you get to
important.
be one.
Yeah, I get to be,
Yeah.
and I love being a dad. And to me, I don't look at a kid like that's mine and not mine. You know what I'm saying? I look at it like you a child, and you're with me. You're my child, no matter what. So And I know it's gonna come a time, right? You're gonna go, oh, you're not my father, and I'm okay with that. I'm cool. You're right. I'm not your dad, but I am your dad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not your dad, but I am your dad, and I could take whatever comes along with
And
that.
as a kid that been there, I can tell you, we say that in that moment because we're upset, we're teenagers, we're young, our mind isn't fully formed. But I promise you, we come back and that apology is 10 freaking fold because we understand. But as a kid, you can't expect kids to understand.
But also, let me say this. Let me piggyback off what you said, because you mentioned
You're talking about the time.
Yeah, the time.
Yeah.
See, you have to understand. In those times, women used to honor men. You know, when a man came
Right.
in and took over a family, that woman gave that man praise. Just honor, because in today's time that we're living in, being a stepfather is like basically being down. You know what I'm saying? Being down talked upon, right? Because matter of fact, I see it all the time where modern single mothers will be like, oh, a man have to bring A, B, and C, and D to me. But this man that you created this family with didn't even have to pay didn't have to pay that premium price.
But who's to say that?
No, it's going on. It's omnipresent. So why does this man, who is competitive, productive, has to come in and share his resources with you? For prime example, so if we do the Brady Bunch thing, right? If this woman have her kids, I have my kids, and we merge our family together, right? So every $100 that I spend within that household, 40% is going to go to your kids, 60% is going to go to my kids. So basically, I'm taking resources away from my biological kids to give it to your kids. Who is to say if those kids are going to appreciate me for what I'm doing for them, for being present, for being a father figure to them, right? At least I know if I have my own kids, my own biological kids, as long as I'm showing up for them, I'm taking care of them, I'm mentally present for my kids, at least I know when I become an old man one day, my kids are going to take care of me. I don't have to worry about my kids telling me, oh, you ain't my daddy. Why do I have to listen to you? And also, too, with bringing two families together, my kids may follow a certain set of rules. Your kids may follow certain set of rules. So my kids could be like, Daddy, why they do such and such and such? Why can they do this? And because you have a set of rules from your kids, they're gonna be like, damn, why can they do this and why can't I do that?
You're saying the mindsets could be
Yeah,
different.
it can be completely different. So that could confuse the kid. You get what I'm? You get what
I understand what
this
you're
is
saying.
no.
I get what you're saying.
Stop
The
saying you don't
mindset.
understand.
No. What I'm saying is
You
that
get what
no.
stupid.
Listen. This
This
is not.
is pure
It's not.
stupidity.
It's not.
That made perfect logical sense.
What I'm saying, I understand.
No,
is-
it's not.
what-
It's stupidity.
No.
It's basically taking every reason you can think of in the book for why it wouldn't work. When you meet somebody and you're engaged with that person and you like that person, in the beginning, yes, it may be a conflict of how you parent, how I parent. It's gonna even if you didn't have kids, it's gonna happen. If I meet you and I start talking to you, how you live your life and how I live my life may be two completely different things. Over time, we mesh. Over time, you blend. That's pure stupidity. And guess what? If it comes to the point where you guys can't agree on things, it would never even get to the point that you even have to concern yourself with blended families. Because as women, mothers, I can't speak for all mothers, but I could say, I'm not going to deal with no man that don't mesh or blend well with my kids. And that doesn't mean I'm putting my kids before you. That just means as I analyze this situation that we're in, if it's not going to work, it wouldn't get to that point where we even have to go to that. But there are situations where you will blend just fine.
Yes, there are. But he wasn't talking about that. He was talking about the situations in which they didn't blend. And yes, if you guys are two single people without children and you go out and say this doesn't work right, all right, cool, you can just walk away. But with children, it's an extra layer to it. And I don't know why she's acting obtuse as if she can't understand that. And then the other point I wanted to make, this is the second time where she doesn't agree with something, so therefore it's stupid. Not one man on this podcast has said what she said was stupid, even though they disagree with them.
That means that's for you. I have a favorite phrase I like to use. I use it all the time when I'm referring to just myself, when I'm referring to dating. And I say it all the time, people need to learn their lanes. When you know your lane, you're not confused. When you're dating people that are in your, I'm in the far left lane, probably about 90% of the time. And it's quite often that I get guys that are in the far right lane, that slow lane, and somehow they made their way over to mine. And I don't understand how they got there or why they're there, but they're there. So I have to redirect them because I know just off a conversation, just off of one conversation could let me know. And I have to redirect you and say, hey, this just isn't your lane. I'm not sure how you got here, but I want to redirect you very respectfully.
Stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
You got a single mom, had it up like crazy, 2 for 2 talking about people need to stay in their lane. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because she disingenuous shit. But then the other point is that she's saying is if she's over here in the left lane, the fast lane, and a dude will come over from the slow lane and I have to redirect him because he shouldn't be here in the first place. What goddamn lane are you in, lady? You 2 for 2. Your dad was in jail, which tells me your mom wasn't a good pick of character. What are you talking about? And that's the other problem. And rest in peace to the late great Kevin Samuels. There's something he used to point out so well. So many of these single moms think that they the ish, even with tons of baggage, still thinking they that deal. And don't let her fool you. I'm saying this respectfully. No, she meant that as disrespectful as she could possibly say it while being passive aggressive while saying it. It's crazy.
So I say that to say, again, it depends on you as a person. Because if you meet like-minded people, right, then the likelihood that it would be just so chaotic, what's the likelihood of that? What's the likelihood of it? You attract what you want, what you like. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm only saying that just as, like I said, I had my daughter when I was 19. If you want to be honest, I had my daughter when I was 18 because she was born 3 days before my 19th birthday. And so I've been doing this single parent thing since I don't even know. I can't even tell you when it started. This is here we are.
The single mother expert. She had her baby at 18. Why we listen to a teenage mother acting like she the shit?
But I've never dated a person that didn't get it. I've never dated a person that I had to fight with you about what you give your kids, what I'm giving. That's stupidity right there.
But let me make a point, bro. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I'm speaking to what I'm speaking about what's going on in these recent times, right? And let me make another point. No man that is productive and competitive want to be restricted, right? I'm gonna give you an example, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna use you as an example. You're married, you have your wife, and you have your kids, right? Supposedly you get off from work, you want to go home and you want to enjoy your wife, right? It's easy for you to come home, and if your kids are past their bedtime, it's easy for you to say, "Hey, son, and Janiyah and whatever it's your son, me and your mama, we got some things to take care of. It's time for you to go to your room."
Princess Naya, Princess Shy, and Papa.
Right. It's time for you to go to your room. Me and your mama got some things to handle. But if I'm a stepdad and I come home and I say something to those kids, if I say, "Hey, it's time for you guys to go to sleep," some woman, I'm not saying all, some woman would take offense to it. They'd be like, "Well, why are you talking to my kids like that? You shouldn't tell them when they go to bed or not."
Yep.
It happens all the time. So that's
Where
the
are these
reason why
statistics coming from?
it's happening. We're living in 2024. Come on now. Let's not play crazy like we don't know this is. I need to clear this up, bro. Let me make this clear. And when I'm speaking, I'm not talking about single traditional mothers. I'm not talking about those. I'm not talking about single traditional. I'm talking about single modern mothers.
But as a man, as a okay,
that's what I'm speaking.
But as a person such as yourself, who's very traditional,
right?
There's no way you're gonna fall into that kind of situation because you're traditional.
Right.
So that means the woman you're gonna be looking for is gonna fit that criteria.
Right.
Right. So those examples shouldn't even exist because in your mind you're gonna do your homework.
Right. Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
And I understand.
But you're saying them or speaking them as if this is something
why you didn't let me
would
finish? I had a good point going.
Cause I've been letting y'all talk.
No, but I had a good. I was trying to. Go ahead.
Just real quick, I had to edit this. This entire clip was like an hour. I had to edit this down to like 30 minutes. And she kept cutting my man off. My man here in the beard is definitely trying to play both sides of it. They were calling him a simp in the original comments. I won't go that far. Whenever he was getting going, he was letting himself easily get shut down.
I'm trying to drive a point home.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Because your point, I'm going to let you go ahead.
Because again, like I said, I'm listening as from a woman. So my responses to you are based upon what you're saying. So it's almost like counterproductive because you're saying one thing and then you're saying something else.
How?
So you're saying I'm not speaking for. Okay, so that's what makes it like a little bit difficult because when you say these are happening right now in these times, I need statistics, I need data, I need something to support that. And the reason I'm going to say that is because again, when you say traditional, you're not talking about modern. It's so tricky going into that area, right? I consider myself to be a modern woman. Okay. However, I was raised on traditional values.
Okay.
No, you weren't.
It depends on how you would then categorize, right? That's your choice, what you see, how you, and it so on and so forth for every other man. So you understand what I'm saying? Like, so to say that's what's going on right now, I have to disagree. And I'm disagreeing because I am a modern woman. And I have modern friends that are single mothers that would completely wholeheartedly disagree with what you're saying.
I get your point, but let me ask you this, Vic. So
before he goes, let me just say this real quick. I hate when women act as if because they don't do something something means it doesn't get done. For example, there are some men who have children with women, and if those women don't give him access to their body, they won't raise their children. They be like, hey, I want to come over and get some. Oh, no, I ain't getting none, then I'm not going to be a daddy. I know those type men exist. Even though I, myself, have one son, I was never like that. I was never a dude like that. I handle my responsibility as a man like I was supposed to for fathering a child. But even I, a man who never participated in that type of action, can acknowledge that there's men out there like that. So I hate when women think because they would never do something like that, they would never have a baby with a man, then run and put him on child support. They'll act like that type of behavior doesn't exist because they themselves don't do it. What?
You don't think that a man that is productive and competitive, taking on a pre-made family, so you telling me that's a good thing? Okay, let me ask you this. How are your kids are going to be an asset to me?
There you go.
I was dating you.
I would never date a man that ever asked me no craziness like that.
Can't answer.
I would never.
But
because you would never ask me
That's
how
the
my
problem.
kids would be an asset to you.
That's the thing.
That's insanity.
But see, I'm coming from a logical standpoint.
Exactly.
You
I
have
don't
to ask
think
those questions.
any woman
And let me say one more thing.
is going to let you say, how can your kids be an... No, sweetie. No.
It's the truth.
No, it's not.
If
Because
listen,
if we're talking about we're
listen.
living in a world.
Uh-huh.
No, because we're talking about living in a world where you're constantly putting the male on this pedestal and you're forgetting
What?
that this is not the old days. So right now at this point, there are a lot of men that sit on a pedestal, but baby, their pedestal is way, way beneath that woman's. I'm not done.
Okay,
so
fine.
when you say, what can you bring to the table? I feel like that goes both ways these days. Traditionally, back in old days, women couldn't bring that much. We didn't have that much. We weren't able to accomplish as much. But we have come very, very far. And I'm going to say that as a single mother myself, that a lot of men cannot even sit at the table with me if I'm being honest. And I still give them a seat. I still push the seat open for them to sit down and show me what they can bring to the table for me. Because I know intellectually, I know financially, I know on a 1,000 different levels, they don't even meet me halfway. So when you make a statement like that, again, like I said, I'm a single mother. I'm a modern woman. I have so many friends across, not just in Florida, this is not Miami. I'm talking about friends, period. And they're single mothers, but they bring a lot to the table.
And all she just did, ladies and gentlemen, was a whole lot of Joker tango. She didn't say anything. The question was, how would your children benefit me as a man if we were in a relationship? She never responded with anything logically. She got caught up in her feelings and just went on a rant that has absolutely nothing to do with the question he just posed. You know why? Because she can't answer it. If I was with a woman and a woman asked me, Coop, how does your son benefit me? I would tell her quick, he doesn't. Your children are important to you. Your children are your asset. They're not an asset to anyone else. And it's okay to admit that. My son is an asset to me, but if I'm a single man out here on the dating market, he will be considered baggage. And it's okay to say that.
And for a man to ever ask me what my kids could do to benefit him, he would never even speak to me again.
All right, but let me ask you this question, Vic.
Okay.
So do you want a man to come in there and share his resources with your kids?
Yep.
I have a question.
No.
I have to counter it. I have to counter it.
Just answer it. I need
He's
a yes
sharing
or no.
it. Do I want him to
yes.
come in and share his resources with my children?
Yes or no?
I'm trying to get clarity on a question.
If you're dating a man,
What is the resources that he's sharing with my children?
his finances.
I don't need 'em.
Because Vic, that's cap. I don't
All
care what
cap.
you say, Vic. Listen, Vic. I don't care.
not
If a
listening.
man is dating a woman at some point in time, Vic, a woman
Let's
is
get
going
into
to
it.
want a man to share his finances in the household.
Yes.
So you telling me you're going to sleep, you're going to lay up there, you're going to date a man, you're going to sleep with that man, and you ain't going to ask that man to contribute his finances?
So
with
here's
your
the
kids?
kicker.
I find that to be hard to understand.
Here's the
That's
kicker.
cap. I'm sorry.
Here's the
That's
kicker.
cap.
Here's the kicker, and we're gonna clear it up.
Go ahead.
I never said I would expect a man to come in and share his not share his finances. I never said that.
That's his
I
resources.
okay, if that's all the resources he has, that's problem number one. We're gonna start. No, that's definitely problem
That's
number
his
one.
resources.
That's not enough for me.
How
So
that's not
again,
enough?
it's not, because I have my
What?
own money. So when you start talking about modern women and you're sitting in front of a woman that makes well over 6 figures a year, you're not
Congrats.
going to tell me that a man can step through that door and tell me, what can your kids do for me? No, baby, what can you do for this household? Because this household runs effortlessly without your finances.
Okay,
So the expectation would be, if you're stepping through this door, why would you step through my door and you're not
All
able
right,
to
Vic.
provide any
Okay,
resources?
Vic. Okay, Vic.
So she went all the way around the world just to say, yeah, I expect a man to cough up some change. Reminder, just because you loud doesn't mean you're right.
Listen, I don't care if you make 6 figures. You know why? Because at the end of the day, your 6 figures is for you. You would never share it with me. At the end of the day,
why would you think that?
But Vic, listen. At the end of the day, whether you make 6 figures or not, you will still want a man to come through there to take over the finances, to take that burden off your shoulders. Don't give it to Vic. Every woman wants that. So when I hear women say that they're not looking for a man to share their resources, that is cap. Let me finish making another point.
No,
this is another risk. Listen, Rock, let me make this one final point. This is another risk of a man that is competitive and productive, that's getting to a situation where he's dealing with a pre-made family. Who is to say if I was to marry you and you divorce me, you will go to the courthouse and put me on child support for the next 18 years for kids that don't even belong to me. And matter of fact, even if I'm not married to you, if I've been dating you for a substantial amount of time, depending on what the state, you can still go and put me on child support for 18 years for kids that are not mine. So to close it off, a productive man that's dating a single modern baby mom in this generation, that's a lose-lose situation. And I'm gonna end it like that.
I'll leave the link to the original conversation in the description. Said the clip by itself was almost an hour, so I tried to trim it down as much as possible. I've said pretty much how I felt throughout the video, and I just think this is delusion, man. Women refuse to look at their children for what they are, baggage to another man. I just said the same thing a few minutes ago in regards to myself having a son. If I'm on the dating market, I have less value as a man with a kid than I do against childless men. And as a man, I have no problem admitting that. That's the world we live in. But women refuse to look at it like that. And then on top of it, this woman's arrogance to be a woman with 2 children by 2 different men because she said her daughter's fathers, plural, having your baby in high school, having a dad that was locked up the majority of your life, tattooed up like crazy. Like, this chick is acting like she's that deal, how she be all the way over here in the left lane and dudes come over from the right lane and she's like, no, Brokey, no, Dusty, you stay over there because you're not on my level. Like, who do you think you are, man? It's just, that's crazy. And she was on the original video. She was in the comments fighting for her life. So I always like to see that, man. But you guys let me know what you think. Do Better Squad. Fall out. Crazy.